Greetings and salutations. Welcome to a special edition of Open Door Live. This broadcast is intended to promote a new play that is going to be in Cleveland at 6702 Detroit Avenue at Near West Theater. It is called Objectively Reasonable, and it is going to involve Phyllis Yvonne Stickney, and it is also directed by Mr. Terrence Spivey, and we are pleased to have him with us today. We also have Miss Samaria Rice, who is, as you know, the mother of Tamir Rice, who was tragically murdered by a Cleveland police officer in 2014. We are working to get our video together here, so bear with me. And we also have Phyllis Yvonne Stickney with us as well. So just one moment as I get this together.
Greetings.
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 I can't put my bonnet on the screen today. But I'm grateful to be here with you. Hi, Samaria. Hi.
Hello, Miss Stickney.
It's good to be. Oh my God, you're the best. I got some rest. I got to study my lines. I was like, don't play with her. She gonna be.
Sounds good. I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad you had some rest.
Yes.
It's a rainy day today, so you were right about the raincoats.
I told you. You know what I do because I travel. I tend to, wherever I'm going, I'll go ahead and that's the one thing for me in Google. I love Google. I will ask them, what is the weather forecast for the next week or whatever time. And when I saw rain, I went back in that I turned around, opened that door, went in my closet and grabbed my little raincoat.
I know that's right. Huh?
Yes.
The wet one. Yeah.
Liquid,
stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's windy too, so just please bundle up. Everybody. Yeah.
Yes.
Cleveland weather is really tricky.
It is.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so grateful. This is exciting.
Yes.
We're getting closer, y'all.
Yes,
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might be up to 75 or 80 people.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm happy with that. The venue was about 200 seats, so I'm happy with that. I think I think sometimes people wait to the last minute, and that's what I've been usually seeing. So even if I would have promoted it maybe 2 months, I think we promoted this maybe within 6 weeks, Terrace, maybe 8 weeks, somewhere around in there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Some last minute walk-ins, probably.
That's unfortunate for those of us who are producers and understand that we need to know. So if anybody is listening out here today that has not yet bought their ticket, we want to tell you, we want to invite you to go online and get your ticket. But that's the one thing about our Black audiences, and I love us. Yeah. We are special, but I don't know what it is. I just did a show in Nashville, and my marketing team, I said to them, 3 weeks before the event is when we do our heaviest promotion, because for whatever reasons, we tend to wait until the day before.
Right. Or the day of. That's right.
And I'll be saying, Black people, y'all have producers' butt cheeks tight because we try to fix it. We need you to come on and show up.
I know that's right.
We need to know you coming before the day before.
Before the day before, especially with me catering and making sure everybody got something to eat and something to drink. Come on, please.
Let us know. So Cleveland, listen, I'm gonna tell you now. You know it's not gonna be the last time we do something. So Cleveland, all my family in Cleveland, I need y'all right now. I'm not mad at you right now because we got one more day, but I need y'all to go ahead while we on this phone, while we on this StreamYard here.
Yes.
I need y'all to go ahead and go ahead and get your tickets, because this is something that we all need to feed into. We all need to pay into this. We all need to participate, because there were so many things that we need to support in our community. And when we come to you and bring you quality information and entertainment about things that are relative. This is relative, especially as we see how things are changing and how things are somehow reverting back to the madness that we thought we'd all sort of evolved from. But these situations let us know that these kinds of events are still important for us to continue to have this conversation, for us to continue to remember what happened and what we can do to support not only Sister Rice, but other families and other communities that have suffered from the same tragedy. So we need to come together, y'all. We need to come together. We need to come
Cleveland,
together.
come on out.
Come on now, y'all.
And see the response.
So, Mr. Robinson, you there?
Yes, I'm here. It just took me a minute to get this StreamYard figured out. You know, sometimes it will throw you a curve and you have to figure things out. But I want to start just by asking Samaria at the top why you decided that you wanted to take on having a foundation and doing what you can to keep the memory of your son alive. And before we get that answer, we'll just let folks know again that Objectively Reasonable will be staged at the Near West Theater at 6702 Detroit Avenue in Cleveland. I think you have a time up at 6:45. You want to make sure that people are there on time so that the play will start on time. And I know you're also having a reception that's going to precede the performance. So tell us about what we're in for on Saturday, which is tomorrow night, and tell us why you decided to take on this magnanimous event, and also why you decided to start the foundation.
Yes, thank you, Vince. Thank you for having us, and thank you for having me. Well, I wanted to continue to build Tamir's legacy with things that I exposed him to. I was a single parent with 4 children, and my children, we were living in Cleveland up until 2005, and then I moved out to the suburb, like Medina and Strongsville, where I saw children being exposed to things that our children wouldn't be exposed to in the inner city. And I wanted to make sure that I was able to give back through Tamir eyes by exposing our children in their inner city community with things that I exposed my children to living in the suburb areas. I noticed that the inner city schools was, they wasn't all that. They were failing, and it was a different teaching from the suburb schools to the inner city schools. So I wanted to create the foundation and the Tamir Rice Afro Central Cultural Center, which is on 61st and St. Clair, after school free programming. My son went to Cleveland Public School. He benefited to a certain extent with after school free programming. At the time when he was going to school in Cleveland, he benefited from some of the after school programs. So I just incorporated how I raised my children, what I exposed them to at early ages. Again, I'm a single parent and I come from a broken home. So I wanted to just make sure I gave them a chance to be a kid, number one, and to have a chance to create their own dreams and have a better life than living in the inner city of Cleveland. Yes. We could go on and on about the inner city of Cleveland, but it was not something that I wanted to continue to, raise my kids in. So I made sacrifices and I lived in those predominantly white areas, Medina, Ohio, Strongsville, and Rocky River, when Tamir was growing up. So he was exposed to just a lot of greatness, and all of my kids was exposed to a lot of greatness. things that they were not doing in the inner city of Cleveland when it came to children and, the welfare of children. So that's one reason why I wanted to create the foundation, to also just be Tamir's voice, make sure people remember him and let people know that you could be resilient. You could be an angry Black mother. Yes, you can, because I'm very angry. I'm still angry. It's 11 years later. But I have channeled it into positivity and just giving back and, doing some healing in the process and just doing what makes sense at the end of the day. What makes sense when it comes to children and raising children and being a citizen in the society? What makes sense? So that's the only thing that I'm doing. What makes sense at the end of the day?
Well, I'm really glad to hear that you have Afrocentric in the title of this building, because I think one of the deficiencies of our public school system is that it does not provide enough of history and context for these young people who grow up not knowing who we are, where we're from, what we're about. Those things are so necessary, and to think that you would have after school programs, it just provides an opportunity for some of those gaps to be filled in. So kudos to you for coming up with that concept, and we're looking to gain some traction with that idea. I want to also have you just share a little bit about what tomorrow evening is going to look like.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for that. Before I move on, when I thought of Tamir Rice Afro Central Cultural Center, I just wanted to make sure that children know who they were that looked like me, and give them a chance of knowing who they are and where they come from. So just like any other culture will have their own system or way of learning, I decided to do that with the Tamir Rice Afro Central Cultural Center. It's just so much important. It's so much important that we know where we come from and who we are at the end of the day. Tomorrow, November 8th, we will be honoring Tamir's 11th anniversary with objectable, reasonable, the shooting in the Tamir. Terrence, I always get it mixed up. The shooting in the Tamir Rice story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it mixed up a lot. So it's a lot of words there.
Yeah.
So we will be honoring Tamir with the production, with a community response that I wanted to just bring back to the Cleveland community, for they can for people that didn't see it before, they could come out and see the new version of it, and just to keep Tamir's legacy alive and to keep his voice relevant, to have the hard conversations, to continue to have the hard conversations, and to open up doors when it comes to performing arts in the artist world. I have many friends that's artists that express to me about tragedies that happen like Tamir, and the injustice of Black people, and how they feel and how they express it. And I allow them to do that when it comes to Tamir Rice. So, I just want to be able to share that moment and honor my son. So that's what we can expect. We have a cocktail hour that starts at 5 p.m. and the actual show starts at 6:45. So I hope that everybody get a chance to come out and see this production. It's a heartfelt production, and it's a must see, according to the Plain Dealer. So I hope everybody get a chance to come out tomorrow, to spend that intimate time with me and my family. And that's, I'm doing what makes sense at the end of the day. That's all of it.
Okay. Well, speaking of doing what makes sense, you brought in Terrence Spivey, who presented this play at Playwrights Local in 2016 and 2017. And as you stated, it's a community response to the shooting of your son. And this version of it is reimagined, and it will also involve the actress Phyllis Yvonne Stickney, who is a
Yes.
veteran of stage and screen. She's
Yes.
been with us for quite some time. I don't want to put her age out there, but I will say that I looked up some information about her and discovered that we were born in the same year.
Okay.
I know she's been around for a minute, but that means that she's
Internet.
done a lot. And in this play, she is going to depict you.
Yeah.
Terrence,
Absolutely.
you have kind of refashioned this play. I'm just curious from you, and I want to state on the onset that you received critical acclaim for
Yeah.
this production that was written by, I believe, 5 Cleveland-based writers that include one of your friends, Mr. Michael Oatman, and
Yeah.
also Lisa Langford, and a
Yeah.
few others that were involved in that. And it got NPR exposure. It was something that the whole nation knew about this, and
Yeah.
obviously the whole nation knew about this homicide in Cleveland. Tell us how this version is going to be different from the first version that you did, and we'll talk about the role that Miss Stickney is playing in this play.
Yeah, thank you, Vince, for allowing me to come on again. And I'm happy. First of all, let me just say, I thought it was just going to be basically uh, uh, Samaria and Miss S doing their thing, and I just want to hear the power of the women and hear their voices. So, but I was kind of say, hey, come on and talk. So I decided I'll do it. But let me just say that first of all, let me just say quickly that I thank Samaria Rice for her resiliency, her tenacity,
Mm,
for her to continue to use the art, which I believe in, because I'm an advocate of the Black arts movement. And we're going
mhm,
to use that type of element because we're not going to be censored no kind of way. And I love that element. I love that style, the way she sees it. We're going
mm,
to put it up there unflinchingly the way we did it back in 2016 and 17. The difference now with the piece, one big difference, we're in a bigger stage, we're in a bigger theater. We're in a black box. It was more immersive and visceral, in your face. We had rehearsals yesterday, and I'm thank God we're gonna have mics, but I'm working on different things. We only have 2 days to go in, and it's other things I'm working on between yesterday and today to be it in their face again like we were before to let uh, Tamir's voice and the spirits of all the others who were unfortunately, victims before and after he was killed to continue. Stage reading is going to be part of it, element of stage reading, where people are going to be behind their stands reading, lifting the words off, and also going to be performance style. That's the difference compared to it's not going to be fast moving like it was. You did see I think you saw the show the
I
first
did.
time, right? It won't
Hmm.
be that roller coaster that we had before. The message still going to be there, but it'll be more for people to sit and really listen and not cheer as compared to before. But the main thing too is the message, whether we're in that huge theater or not, and the other elements being utilized, it's the message. And we're looking to get a chance to use multimedia a lot more too. We didn't do it the last time. To take us to destinations, to take us to those moments of the 60s and the 70s and the civil rights movement of Freedom Summer, Black Power. We're using that also as one of the characters to help feel and shape the message and bring the voices across. So that's the big difference there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. You brought in a powerhouse, a virtual
Yeah.
powerhouse
Yeah.
in the person of Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. Miss Stickney, I want to ask you what motivated you to take on this project?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to be myself again. Uh, I have to say, I mirror. I cannot imagine what Samaria went through. I cannot imagine what any mother um what goes through. I cannot imagine or have that feeling that what she experienced. So for me, being a Black activist, I consider myself a nationalist. I consider myself a community leader and developer. I am a woman who has lived long enough to see what racism has done to us and what it continues to do to us. I understand that for me, theater is a way of healing. It's a way, I believe, of bringing attention to some much needed issues that still exist in our family. And so when I got the call from Kimberly that there was an interest in my doing this, I knew, of course, as the world learned about what happened on November 14th, 22nd, in 2014. And so whatever I could do, that if I could say a yes to Samaria, if I could say yes to Terrence Spivey, if I could participate in any way to make this tragedy into a teaching lesson, a healing lesson, and whatever. So God gave me these talents and gifts, and I'm sharing them where I believe they're worthy. And I don't think there's anything more worthy than what Samaria is doing for her son and for others who have suffered as she has suffered. And for us to rally around. There's so many words in this piece that ring true about the Black male image and how it is, how people react to the Black body, how people react to us, especially our Black men, especially our Black boys, especially our Black youth, is historical, but it needs to be corrected. And so I had to say yes. I had to say yes because of what it means and what it does and who asked me.
Right. Yes. And, Terrence just referenced a few moments ago the importance of not being censored, the importance of the narrative. As someone who is an actress and an activist, what does it mean to you to be able to present something unapologetically and from a perspective that represents our point of view?
It is important, especially now that we're talking about what we see happening in the schools, books being them trying to people or the movement that wants to try to silence the truth of our trauma, the truth of our experiences. So this is important because they have to hear it the way it happened. They have to hear it with all of the angst. They need to hear it and experience it because that will hopefully make them move to action, to do something. To really do something. It talks about, in one of the pieces, it talks about the discussion is really about each of us understanding how we are complicit in this. And so that this story became, it's no longer a local story, it's a national story. And the fact that she's using this as a way, not only for her to heal as best she can, but for her to entice others, people to move and do something, to be aware of what's happening in our community. We cannot be censored. We have been censored. We had to look down. We had to, couldn't look some folks in the eye directly and all of those things. So we have apologized enough for things that aren't even our fault. So in this opportunity, in this evening, we get to tell the story like it is. We get to tell the stories like it was felt. We get to speak the words that others have thought, but perhaps didn't get an opportunity to say. And so in this evening, in this event, in this offering of objectively reasonable that Sister Rice and Mr. Spivey have collaborated to put together, we get a chance to tell it like it is, to speak it like it needs to be spoken.
Right. I want to go back to Ms. Rice because she indicated in earlier comments the struggle that has been since this has happened. The gazebo where this happened has been relocated to Chicago. But recently a marker was placed at that site and it commemorates your son's life. And I just want you to share with the audience what that means to you in terms of keeping his memory alive, and also just talk about, what your journey has been, because, Cleveland wants us to forget that it happened. the fact that two police
Yeah.
officers were involved in this, never faced any serious charges, were able to go on with their lives as if nothing happened, but we all experienced the loss and the grief that occurred when we saw that a young man was gunned down. And then, the whole idea, which is where the play comes from, objectively reasonable, that was the conclusion that was drawn by folks who reviewed this case. And the reality of it was that there was a police dispatcher that did not give an accurate description of what the situation was. And then when these officers showed up, I think it was said within 2 seconds, a trigger was pulled, and that's not really enough time to exercise any logical judgment about a situation. So, I just want the audience to get a sense of, what your frustration has been to keep this alive while you're in a city that wants to forget.
Well, yeah, Vince. Just recently I was working with our new councilwoman, Nikki Hudson. And me and Nikki together we did a historical landmark for Tamir's memorial site. There is a memorial site there where I did a butterfly memorial garden. And the community came out to help, and that was a way of us healing. But then I got it revamped back in 2022 with like a marble plate over there and some nice stones, some upgraded um, rocks and stones for the garden or whatever. So recently we just got the historical landmark, and that's the only memory that I have of my son. And I would like to keep that memory. I want Cleveland to keep the memory, and I don't want it to be destroyed because Cleveland doesn't want to accept accountability. They may have acknowledged that something wrong has happened, but there's still no accountability for my son's murder. And, we're coming from a city with 137 shots. There's no accountability there as well. So, it leaves me very frustrated, angry, rage all the time, and just little hope for change in Cleveland. Let me say that. I don't know what's wrong with Cleveland. I'm not I just don't know what's wrong with it. It's just like the leadership here is just real poor, it's corrupt, and it shouldn't be like this with a city full of Black people. I am very confused on why a city full of Black people and Black leadership we are not thriving more. So, so that is one of the reasons why I am resilient. I'm very strong, and I want to make sure that my son's legacy stay alive. I believe I've been doing a great job of keeping his legacy alive.
Absolutely.
And like Miss Stickney said, and Mr. Spivey said, he is international. This is not a local situation. Frank Jackson, he called it a local. It's not local. Okay. It is international. I did not ask the people over in Jordan, Sudan, to do a march for my son and have a flag with his face while they was marching. I did not call them and ask them for a march. So when I seen that in the media, I was like, wow, this is international, and everybody around the whole universe know about Tamir Rice. So that's a reason why I want to make sure I keep his legacy alive as long as I'm living. And I hope I don't have to wait to the lady that lied on Emmett Till to get some justice for my son, because Timothy Loehmann is still surfacing the East Coast trying to be a police officer. I have stopped him 5 times, and these people keep calling me from whatever city he lands in. The city council would get in contact with me. The NAACP get in contact with me. This man is still surfacing the East Coast trying to be a police officer, okay? I didn't ask them people in Cuyahoga, Pennsylvania to go out there and protest. And those was protesters, Trump supporters, okay? I didn't call them and say, can you please go out there? Okay, these people are contacting me, and however they get in contact with me, and they let me know what's going on with Timothy Loehmann. And as far as Frank Granbeck, he's still somewhere working around the city. I hear he is second command. Again, it's just too much corruption in Cleveland, and we need some new leadership ASAP. And I just really worry about Cleveland.
Wow, that's profound.
Yes, it is. And I want to point out the fact that, when you bring up leadership, we have a dynamic in this city and in this county that results in young Black males being sent to prison and tried as an adults disproportionately more than they are in other areas of the state. It's almost like it's twice as high. You look at Hamilton County, which is where Cincinnati is. You look at Franklin County, where Columbus is. You look at other parts of the state, and we have Democrat judges. And of course, that we vote mostly Democrat. So, we're responsible for putting those people in those positions. But, this is something that we have to be aware of. It is the culture of the justice system here in Cleveland. I don't need to remind people of the homicides or the deaths that have occurred at the Justice Center in the past few years, and the hue and cry that's come out about the injustices that exist in our city. So I think it's really important for us to do this work. And as you said, it's not a local situation, it's a national situation. And I think at the heart of it is people recognize injustice when they see it. And we're living in an age in which information is readily available, and regardless of what mainstream media does, we have social media, and people are finding out the truth about things that are going on in our world and in our society. Terrence, I wanted you to comment about the irony of objectively reasonable. I think that there's a lot to unpack there. And I think you, as one who is very cognizant of the power of the narrative, and also, the fact that your work reflects a certain level of activism in everything that you do as it relates to Black people. Talk about the irony of objectively reasonable.
Yeah, let me just give credit with that title to David Todd and Tom Hayes. These two guys were white who created who had the piece done through all the five playwrights themselves. Michael Oldman, Mike Geither, and Lisa Langford is doing well as a playwright even now. And I love it fits what I do in terms of irony, because I love I won't give it away, certain things in the play, but just the irony of it is just knowing that the contradiction, which I think falls everywhere we go in terms of particularly people of color, to have something like that. And then you got the community response. But at the same time, one thing you do is have both sides having their own opinion about what happened. And it's funny, I looked it up again, the meaning, and I thought about even letting it pop up, the definition, and it's showing the fact that it's trying to say it's not subjective, which I really believe that's what most of them have been doing the past since Tamir. They've been doing things pretending it had nothing to do with feeling. It was basically on what they had see right before their eyes. As you mentioned, 2 seconds, bam, and how could he just have time to say hold it or whatever? That's something from the race itself. But that's what I'm about, and is doing works like that with irony and objective reasonable. I think was a wonderful title to go against the grain of what truly happened.
Okay. Ms. Stickney, we can't see you, so there may be some folks out there who don't know who you are or what you look like, but I think if you let us know about some of the projects that you've been involved in, they might remember you. And I think the role that you played in New Jack City might be a good way to remind them, because you played an attorney in that particular film.
Yes, and to my Cleveland family, it's that I got the message late, and so that's why I had to be on. I had to get on, but I didn't want to come on and let y'all see, my sleep face. That was not a good. So I just want to thank everyone for supporting, because what you've seen me in is Miss Hawkins in New Jack City. Yeah. I have to do that scene in every airport, wherever I travel. Were you or were you not head of the murderously bloody CMB? I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, Miss Hawkins. So they've seen me in New Jack City. They've seen me in What's Love Got to Do with It. I played the sister of Tina Turner. In How Stella Got a Groove Back. I played the Jamaican mother in oh my God, in Women of Brewster Place, for those of us who remember those days. I played the mother of six, the single mother of six. So I had a cousin that I fashioned that role, my portrayal of that character, because my cousin had 9 children and she was a single mom. I mean, I've done 27 films. I think if they Google me, probably they would, find out a little. I'm that chocolate lady, the little chocolate actress that's been there for a minute, trying to do the quality work that I can. And so theater is where I began, how I cut my teeth, so to speak, is on live theater. And I think that what happens in those rooms, in those little black boxes, in those proscenium and thrust stages, can change someone's life. It changed my life. And so I like Terrence and Mr. Spivey and Miss Rice. I believe that this play is something that everyone should see, because of what it says and what it does and how it says what it says. Just to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Spivey said, there is a line specifically in the play when we talk about objectively reasonable, how 3 seconds someone. One of the lines in the work says, if it had been a little white girl waving the gun around, I don't think you would have shot her. I really don't think you would have shot her. And so we have to, and what you said, Mr. Robinson, about the prisons and how many of us, and this proportionate number of us, I want us to take this information that's going to be given to us tonight. And I know that everybody right now that hasn't gotten their ticket is on the phone right now trying to get their ticket, or they're preparing to get it right now, because you need to be in the room tomorrow night at the Northwest Theater. You really need to be in the room to support this effort, because this effort allows more information, will allow Mr. Rice to reach more people, to teach more people, to wake us up. There's, like I said earlier, it's really about us understanding how we are all complicit if we don't say something, if we don't do something. And so I'm taking, yes, I've enjoyed the work I've done in New Jack City, Jungle Fever, What's Love Got to Do with It, Talking Dirty After Dark, How Still I Got a Groove Back. I've enjoyed each and every one of those roles and others that I've done. But this is the work that speaks to my spirit. This is the work that changes and can change people's lives. We don't realize that what they're doing right now is putting slavery in the prisons. Slavery has now come into the prisons. And so that's why they take our young black men and young black women now, because women are now being sought after, because in those prisons, if we did not realize that the federal government, how much they pay for every single bed, that's why they're trying to get all of us on paper and in a cell. On paper and in a cell. And so this, changing the history, changing our history, changing the future for us by taking away our young black men is the atrocity that we have to look at, talk about, and do something about. We can stop it through our politicians, through our local assemblymen, through our congressmen, through our senators. We have to speak out. And this piece supports that kind of reckoning, that kind of recognizing, and speaks to the problem. And then we can, through the center that Samaria and Ms. Rice is setting up, and centers like that, we can talk about solutions.
Well, I'm really pleased that you have chosen to be a part of this project, and I applaud you for taking this on because we've talked about the power of the narrative, and there's so much content that comes our way. I was having a conversation with someone last night and just talking about the fact that back in the day, locally, we had three television stations and we had theaters in town, and we would go to the movies and we would watch televisions. Well, now we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, and we just have so many choices that we can make. And a lot of the content that we take in is just basically entertainment. But it's really important for us to take in things that are of substance because just like what you eat is important, what you occupy your mind space is important too. In order
Yeah.
for us to have certain levels of consciousness, we have to connect with things that have meaning and not just something that's there to distract us from the things that are going on in the world. The only way that we can really make a difference in what's happening around us is if we take it upon ourselves to be solution oriented and not be so immersed in the problem. And I think that's what Samaria Rice has taken on in terms of her mission to keep her son's legacy alive and to remind folks about the injustice that has taken place here in Cleveland. And here's the other thing. One of the primary concerns that residents of a city like this have is public safety. If you go to any city council meeting, they'll have a commander from a local precinct. He'll be in the room with them, and the residents are crying for the first half hour to 45 minutes about the issue of crime in their neighborhoods. And people always want to look at more police as being the solution to our problems. Well, just like you, Miss Stickney, I'm an activist and I'm an advocate for the arts. And what I'm saying is we need to put paintbrushes in the hands of children instead of pistols. We need to put musical instruments in their hands instead of knives. And we need to arm them with the knowledge of self so that they remember and understand who they are and the power that they have when they connect with their creative abilities. And until this city and other cities learn that it's important to dedicate money towards the arts and not always cut them from their public school programs, because the first thing to go is art. And art is power, art is healing, and art is the thing that will take our children off the streets and out of harm's way and allow them to be a part of the solutions that cities face. We just recently, and I apologize for getting on the stump, but I have to take the opportunity every time I get to extol this. We just got $3 million in ARPA funds that we spent this past year. And we empowered 300 or 400 artists in this city to come up with solutions through the art that they created through these respective programs. And what I'm told is that there is a 7-fold return on every dollar invested in art. There is an economic impact that comes from an investment in art. And I want to understand what the investment in public safety brings. Because again, putting more police on the streets is just another way to lock more of us up and put them in the slavery system that you just talked about. So let this be a door that opens to awareness about the importance of art in our city and in cities across the country. And I'm sure that under the direction of Mr. Spivey here, people will get the message. I'm sure that these dollars that are spent on this production will go towards the empowerment of this Afrocentric center that Samaria Rice is creating. And I'm sure that the excellence of Miss Phyllis Yvonne Stickney will resonate with those who watch this play tomorrow evening. With that, I want to thank all of you for being a part of this broadcast. And I trust that this will motivate some of those folks who have been waiting until the last minute to get their tickets. Any closing remarks that you would like to make, Miss Rice, before we conclude the broadcast?
Yes, we definitely don't need more police. Some of these police officers ain't even trained properly, or maybe even not even licensed to carry a badge and a gun, number one. So I think if they're going to put any money into policing, maybe they should do their training process and how they accumulate cadets in the academy. So I would recommend that. Also recommend that they get a psychiatrist for some of the for the graduating classes, because at the end of the day, police officers need to know that they're dealing with a delicate mind, and they need to act accordingly and use God-given senses at appropriate times. Just wanted to make sure I said that, and also clear up the dispatch. You absolutely right, Vince. She gave the wrong information, but keep in mind she had already was in violation because a 12-year-old girl had called in to dispatch and got the lady Christina, and the little girl was actually in trouble. She was being raped, and Christina, the dispatch, the same lady that gave the wrong information in my son's case, she was very horrible to the 12-year-old girl and did not give her assistance. So when you talk about corruption in Cleveland and leadership in Cleveland, that's a whole different category. And I pray to God, and I hope to God that people wake up and do what's right, because God is not pleased. God is not pleased. And in reference to the Tamir Rice Afrocentric Cultural Center, I just wanted to make sure I exposed children to what my children was exposed to. My son loved the arts. He used to be playing tap dancing, and he used to be acting out certain TV shows that him and his sister would see on TV. He was part of the Fine Arts Cadell Center. When he had a mentor, his mentor was taking him there. He was playing the drums. He was a sixth grader. And he was a big kid, but he was a gentle giant. And I would rather have my son back today to have to deal with any of this. So thank you, Vince, for allowing us to come on today. And I hope everybody get a chance to get their tickets and come out and see this heartfelt production.
All right, Mr. Spivey, any concluding remarks that you'd like to make?
Yes, number one, first of all, when Kimberly Snodgrass, who manages Miss S, mentioned about her, her being available to work on any projects I'm doing, and of course I was in the mix of working on Objectively Reasonable. I knew of her overwhelming work, amazing work, but the moment that got me to say, "Hey, she fits this play," was her amazing, candid appearance on the Phil Donahue show back in the 90s. That was what told me, yes, she's the right one to help thread Tamir's voice. And I'm going to go back to what you said earlier about we only just had 3 channels back then. One thing that's missing, even though there's all the social media, the apps, we don't have the Black theater spaces that we used to have back in the 70s, to tell the truth. All our living libraries, like Cicely Tyson and James Earl, some of them have faded and they're gone. The spirits are around, but the libraries will tell the truth as well. And as the great Toni Morrison said, art is also dangerous. She said it's dangerous, and because it tells the truth. And art is the only one that sets by the door. It sets by the door, and it would not be moved. So anyone who's an artist, visual, whatever you are, you're going to see something like Kira Kurosawa said, as an artist, you should not avert your eyes. And that's one thing that bothers me. A couple of them do. Some artists out there do it. Some theaters do it. But we have to tell the truth. And that's what art, here again, banning of books that was mentioned and things being censored, comedians. I'm like, what are we going back to Moscow theater back in the day when they censored everything back at that time, right? It cannot happen. It cannot happen with what's going on now. Art is going to have to be the savior to tell the truth.
Amen.
And that's
Amen
what
to that.
Amen. That's why they took it out of the schools. To everyone's point, that's why they took it out of the school. They knew that our little black children did better, performed better academically.
Yes.
When they were able to take music and band and home economics and all of those kinds of things, we performed better. And so because we are not the inferior. We are not the minority.
That's
all
right,
of that
right.
is psychological stuff to help us look at ourselves differently,
That's
to
right.
not go and delve into who we are and what our true power and resilience is. When you say resilience, you have to be talking about the Black people. You
That's
have to
right.
be talking about the melanated race. You must be. There is no one that has excelled. No one could have the history that we have, the success that we have, coming from what we have come from. If it were not for the arts, we've given song, we've given dance, we've given art and made it important to the world.
That's
Everyone
right.
wants what we have and what we make, what we create with our hands, with our minds, with our bodies. There's no one that can do what we do the way we do it. And so art is important for the survival. It is important for the survival of our, to resurrect. We have to resurrect that thing within us. And art resurrects it within the children. It resurrects and allows us to have a common language and a common conversation. Art is important to all of us, to our survival, to our longevity, and to our legacy. And so I am grateful to be a part of this today, to be a part of it tomorrow, and to be a part of it continually. This isn't just my first time in Cleveland. I'm now part of Samaria's family. And she can call upon me whenever she needs to, as can Mr. Spivey. So it is important because this is something that you're doing in Cleveland, and we have to replicate it around the nation.
Right. That's right.
Because
That's
we are all
That's
suffering.
right.
We're all suffering from the same bite. We're all suffering from the same venom, but we have a remedy. We have to get the art back. Like you said, I remember I said to them yesterday, I shared with them, there were 120 Black theaters when I moved to New York. 120 producing Black theaters. It made a difference. It made a difference in the quality of lives. And we have to get back to that, and we have to take it to the streets.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Miss Stickney.
Right, yes.
Vince, one last thing. The gazebo is in Chicago. It is on the same street as the Obama Library, and that's where it will remain at the Art Bank. So when people go visit the Obama Library, they could come right down the street to see the Tamir Rice gazebo, which is at the Art Bank on Stony Island with Theaster Gates and the Rebuild Foundation. So, and they have been holding it there since 2015 and built a beautiful home for it. And I'm allowed to go out there anytime I want to sit under the gazebo, to sit in that space and have whatever I need to have. And also I have the memory over at Cadell as well. So those two memories is all I have of my son. They're very powerful. For folks that have not visited them, they should try to visit the space in Cleveland, the Memorial Garden, and the gazebo. It is very powerful there. So thank you all for even considering. Thanks, Vince.
Okay, and I'll add as a footnote, it exists as a memory for you, but it also exists as a memory for all of us. This way, as with all of our ancestors, the way that we keep them as alive is that we continue to say their names. And I think that's what this play does. And I think what your effort does with the Tamir Rice Foundation does as well. Thank you all for joining me. And again, we'll look forward to what's going to happen tomorrow evening. I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to see the performance of this excellent actress that is with us right now. With all of that, as always, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and make today your absolute best day. Peace, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.